I was elected as a democratic socialist, and I will govern as a democratic socialist. I will not abandon my principles for fear of being deemed radical.
Like Zohran's like the hangover of wokeism. Nancy is the hangover of TDS. She reminds me of the, like, I don't know, this might be too elitist, but if you belong at a co-op meeting or a condo meeting, she's one of the elderly tenants who comes in and just complains that the kids are making all this noise. She's at her wit's end. But this is what an addiction to one idea.
Have you ever noticed how decline rarely arrives with alarms blaring? Sometimes it creeps in quietly, blending into daily life until dysfunction feels normal. That is the mood many observers describe in New York right now. The energy is still there, but so is a growing sense of disorder, with Zohran Mamdani positioned squarely at the center of the conversation. Then enters Greg Gutfeld, slicing through the chaos with fierce commentary. Watching the saga unfold feels like witnessing someone attempt to steer a ship through a storm using nothing but optimism and a map from last year. Uneasy, dramatic, and oddly captivating.
In 9, Zohran Mamdani, or whatever, the Socialist Democrat nominee for New York City's mayor, identified as Black or African American when he applied to Columbia University. I guess there was no box for trust fund communist douchebag. But it didn't work. He didn't get in. He probably shouldn't have included a referral letter from this lady.
If you appreciate this kind of deep dive, do not forget to subscribe. It truly helps the channel grow. Now about Mamdani's leadership. He stepped into office with towering assurances: lower housing costs, safer communities, transportation that finally runs smoothly. Yet as time moves forward, those assurances echo louder than the results themselves. Gutfeld focuses on that widening separation between confident speeches and visible progress. The more he highlights it, the harder it becomes to overlook.
Socialist Zohran Mamdani has been elected the mayor of New York City. You know, I never thought I'd be reminiscing about the good old days when Son of Sam was my dog walker. I haven't seen this many depressed New Yorkers since it got too chilly for me to wear bike.
Gutfeld is not known for restraint. He does not soften criticism or dilute his message. Instead, he targets what he views as the central failure: a city struggling financially, socially, and structurally. The image he paints resembles a balancing act gone wrong: public safety concerns rising, infrastructure straining, and residents growing impatient. Hovering above it all is a layer of political spin that critics argue masks deeper issues.
Says he doesn't consider himself Black at all. I guess it was that Justin Trudeau kind of Black, where you just wipe it off at the end of the day. But it raises the often ignored question: how can you claim to be oppressed when you know the claim gets preferential treatment? I mean, why would anyone voluntarily choose an identity that supposedly holds you back unless you knew it could actually move you forward? So he saw the grift, using a false disadvantage to actually...
At the same time, Mamdani continues to present his policies as transformative. The language is polished, the tone reassuring. But outside the podium, frustrations simmer. Crime discussions dominate headlines, aging structures demand repairs, and commuters brace for unpredictable subway delays. The contrast between promise and practice feels increasingly stark to many observers.
Is it an omen of a woke future or a ghost of a woke past? True, he really is the hangover from a decade of heinous ideas where repeat criminals are the victims, men can be women, and brain damage is considered a plus. But in this election, the votes cast were over 90% Democrat. That's one-party rule, a monopoly, which means it was a choice between bad and worse because there is no counterpoint to balance.
This is precisely where Gutfeld's commentary gains traction. He reframes each issue not as an isolated setback, but as part of a broader pattern. His humor carries an edge, reflecting fatigue that resonates with viewers across boroughs. Residents have heard ambitious plans before, yet the everyday experience often tells a different story. Housing debates linger, safety remains contentious, and infrastructure timelines stretch endlessly. In Gutfeld's telling, repetition itself becomes evidence.
For New York City, Zohran Mamdani has introduced his all-female transition team. At least we think they're female. True, since Zohran won, there have already been a few minor changes to the city. For example, the naked cowboy has already been replaced by the naked goat. And now every play on Broadway.
It is remarkable that a city celebrated for global influence can falter on fundamentals. Affordability was supposed to improve, yet rents continue climbing while cranes at the skyline. Construction projects appear permanent. Traffic thickens. Transit hiccups persist. Despite this, official messaging insists steady advancement is underway. Gutfeld underscores the contradiction with pointed sarcasm, forcing audiences to weigh words against outcomes.
If the party feels differently about that, as Jessica says, then they really gotta talk louder about it, because that's the problem. You guys didn't speak up. You know, you grew this monster because you were too scared to discipline it as it expanded into every facet of our lives. Imagine if you had nipped wokeism in the bud rather than waiting for us to slay it with Trump. The Democratic Party are like parents of a criminal teen who raised him without any discipline or common sense, and then you released him into the wild, i.e. our world, and now we have to deal with it, and now you're going like, yeah, I predict that when he gets the nomination.
Supporters argue that meaningful reform takes patience and persistence. Detractors respond that deterioration does not pause while plans are drafted. Gutfeld amplifies that tension, presenting delays and bureaucratic expansion as symptoms of ineffective management. While Mendy emphasizes equity and opportunity, critics question whether ordinary residents feel tangible relief. The clash between narrative and numbers fuels ongoing debate.
He was lying to get what he wanted. Like when I used to tell women that I love them. He wasn't confused. He was calculating. Mamdani knew that applying while black could be a ticket past the velvet rope of Ivy League admissions. And that was in 2009. Since then, identity politics has exploded into a full-blown access pass for corporations, schools, girls' locker rooms.
What gives the coverage its intensity is the steady build. Gutfeld layers critique upon critique, constructing a larger storyline about leadership under pressure. Safety initiatives are unveiled, infrastructure programs announced, housing strategies revised. Yet skepticism remains. Laughter punctuates the satire, but beneath it lies a shared recognition that civic frustration is real and growing.
Zohran was handpicked. By who? Who knows? We know it wasn't for his resume. He didn't have one. He's a hard-left socialist with no managerial background, a disdain for capitalism and Jews. He's no different than a trust fund protester, except with a PR team and Soros's credit card. He's not even qualified to be my pool boy. Definitely not strong enough to lift me.
In the end, this is about more than television exchanges. It raises deeper questions about responsibility and results. Gutfeld frames the situation as a collision between bold ambition and uneven execution. Promises of safer streets, affordable living, and modernized transit confront stubborn realities. Behind the commentary are millions of residents navigating daily life. Humor may drive the discussion, but the underlying point stands firm. Leadership earns credibility through measurable change, not carefully crafted speeches.